Alright, so here in this video we're going to be looking at solving this quadratic equation by completing this square. Alright, so this is like a step-by-step process that goes along with this, so make sure you learn that process, what those steps are, so that you can be successful here. The first thing we always need to do is to clear this C value. Right, now what this does is it's kind of freeing up space here over on the left-hand side so that we can choose what number is going to make it a perfect square. Right, so once that C value is gone, I can kind of customize this number right here to make that left-hand side a perfect square. Now what that comes from is b divided by 2 squared. So we'll look back into our equation, realize that b is a negative 10. Alright, so we'll go through and we'll figure out what that is. So we've got our negative 10 divided by 2 squared. Negative 10 divided by 2 is really just a negative 5. And when we square that negative 5, we get a 25. So that's the number we're going to need to add to get our perfect square, but we are still working with equations here. So make sure you add that 25 to both sides of your equation. Alright, so once we do that, we have our y squared minus 10y plus 25 here is equal to that 33. So once we get it set up here, this portion on the left-hand side, this expression is now a perfect square, and it hinges around that 25. So I know with the 25, I either need the 5 times the 5, or a negative 5 times a negative 5. And since we have a negative 10 here, we know that we're going to need our y minus 5 times our y minus 5. Right? And all this is still equal to the 33. Right? So once we have that, we know that anytime we have the same quantity multiplied by itself, we can just call that quantity squared. So y minus 5 squared here is equal to our 33. So this is the step now where we are to the solution part. And we're going to need to deal with the fact that this is to the second power there. Alright, so with that, what we're going to have to do is understand that the square root is the opposite of having that quantity squared. So since these are opposite operations, they cancel out. So something important here to remember though, even though the square root of 33 is not a perfect square, we're still going to have to consider the positive case and the negative case, which tells us to set up two equations. We'll have a y minus 5 is equal to a positive square root of 33, and our y minus 5 is equal to a negative square root of 33. So these will be the equations here that we'll have to solve. Alright, so we'll need to add 5 to get our y by itself there. Now when we do that, making sure we enter it in properly to our calculator. So here's what it would look like in order for this to work out. Right, notice how we have closed the parentheses on that square root. That way we're not telling to take our square root of 33 plus 5, right? We don't want the square root of 38. We want that square root of 33 plus the 5, and we want that negative square root of 33 also plus the 5. So those would be our two answers right there.